This is so disturbing. So disturbing. I don't know if many of you are seeing these articles that are coming out about Italy investigating what they're calling sniper safaris. You know how you see pictures of rich people going to Africa to hunt lions and zebras and rhinos and giraffes and all of these different animals, and it's super messed up. Well, Italy is investigating that in the 1990s, wealthy people from the US, the UK, France, Germany, Italy, Russia were flying to Bosnia, an active war zone, specifically Sarajevo, a besieged city, an active war zone, to hunt human beings. Wealthy people were paying $90,000 and above to go hunt civilians for fun. And they were paying extra to hunt children. People flying from different countries to an active war zone to hunt human beings, human children. And it makes you wonder if this was going on in the 90s, and apparently there was a documentary that came out in 2022 called Sarajevo Safari. Like, if we're just now hearing about these things, like, it makes you wonder what's going on in the active war zones around the world.
What is going on with y'all, man? It is Black Balloon, and I'm coming back with another video, man, so y'all already know what's going on. Alright, y'all. Now, check this out, man. I thought this was very, very interesting. The clip we're about to watch here in a second was what I was going to put in yesterday's video, but I was like, you know what? I'll save this for a fresh video. May not be that long of a video, but man, is this a crazy topic. Now, it almost goes into what we were talking about yesterday, because you cannot be human if you signed up for this sniper safari. Man, you cannot be human. If you were one of those elite, rich, very wealthy people who was willing to sign up, go across the world, and participate in a sniper safari against humans, against little ones, against little kids, there is no way you are actually human yourself. Some of the most demonic stuff I've ever heard. And it was done by people in multiple countries, including the US, Russia, and so on. We're going to read an article that kind of goes exactly into the details of how it all happened and how this is now being investigated by Italian prosecutors, right? So I had this one clip sent to me, and the guy just goes over it, breaks it down pretty well, and compares this to movies and books that had the same plot long ago, dating all the way back to the 1920s, where they were basically telling us this is not the first time that it happened, considering the Bosnian War that was back in the 90s. So it's been happening way before that. And the fact that we're just now finding this out, or it's just now hitting mainstream news, is absolutely insane. We're talking about full-blown hunting humans. Full-blown hunting little ones. Full-blown doing it for fun. Paying hundreds of thousands of dollars just to go out and snipe civilians. Just to go out and snipe little ones. They actually paid more money to be able to snipe a little one. One of the most insane stories I've ever read and I've ever heard of. But it makes a lot of sense, just like that small clip that we just started the video with, on, us not actually knowing what goes on when countries are at war. It could be some of the most vile and just evil things you can imagine. Let's go ahead and jump into this clip. I think it's very interesting. I definitely think y'all will like this topic if you never heard of it, all right? Check this out.
When the files come out, they're going to be far worse than anything you've ever imagined in your entire life. It's horrific enough to have them give us this kind of narrative that it's young girls and sex trafficking. And I think that is literally the distraction, because in the 9 stages of horrific shit you can do to humans, that would be upper level, right? And I think you're going to find out that it's bestiality, snuff, dismemberment, and cannibalism. And I don't think that's hyperbolic to say that at all. You know, this article recently came out where rich Italians during the Serbian War were performing a level of sniper tourism where they would go shoot children. Let that sink in. Let that sink in. The thing is, Hollywood does a great job when it wants with certain films to express things openly, because it creates this kind of deniability, right? And the entire X-Files series was based off of this, right? So anytime that you wanted to talk about something that would be falling like the woo-woo category, mysticism, whatever, right? It would be like, that's just something from the X-Files. And it immediately shut off the ability to have a discussion. You see what I mean? You can see this with the rich power elite who are psychopaths. They're not sociopaths, they're psychopaths, right? And this is a great expression of their psychopathology and their desire to, kill people. Which, obviously expressed here and here, right? Where the rich are basically exploiting the poor for fun. But then we have very well crafted and well produced and well written series like this, where, if you remember, the serial killer was being used by the rich politicians of that state. Do you know what I'm saying? So the base foundation is that there was a secret cabal behind that serial killer, right? This is a 1999 film, and I'm telling you, if there wasn't a film created to express this more clearly, it's this one. A rich oligarchical husband dies. She goes into the safe and finds a snuff film that she's pretty certain he purchased for his entertainment. And she hires Nicolas Cage as a private detective to find that. She wants to make some type of reparation. Sidebar, Peter Stramore, who was Constantine, the devil in Constantine, plays a pornographer snuff movie manufacturer in here, like director. It is the most disturbing role, and this film is almost too disturbing to watch because, again, I think it touches on these kind of truths, right, that we've seen here expressed, by this, right? Eyes Wide Shut. I mean, Kubrick, of all people, his final film, nothing to me confirms that he's speaking the truth, that there is a rich cabal elite core doing fucked up shit to people than this, because he died right after it and he wasn't that old, right? And his death is somewhat mysterious. So it seems to me that the power elite, okay, the power elite, its main game, and the Files guy was a tool by the power elite to create situations where they could extort and blackmail people. And if you want to see this, is best expressed by John Fetterman. Like, I think he showed up as this working man Democrat, and he got in there, and then suddenly he becomes an alcoholic. And have you seen him on the bench in the park where they're like trying to talk to him and he's just freaking out? Like, this guy literally is being blackmailed in front of our eyes. Okay. Even his most recent interviews, I just that guy looks like they're extorting something. They've got something on him. And I think that's what this entire system about. The power elite and the politicians extort and blackmail everyone.
Now, the reason people start these type of clips off with the list and, them basically promoting in the media that the list is only about, PDF and little ones like we were talking about in the video yesterday, it's because there are much, much worse things going on. So a lot of the clips that I've came, to watch about this human safari tour, a lot of people were also talking about the list because it just makes sense as far as what else is actually going on that we don't know about. And obviously the things that they're hiding with that supposed list is a lot of things we don't know about and we speculate about. And we can only imagine how far evil goes, the depth that it actually goes, if some of that stuff was ever able to leak, right? This is something has been rumored since the 90s and early 2000s, but it's now fresh again. It's now a topic where the mainstream media, people who had no idea about this stuff, can learn about it. And you can see how far, evil people will go when all they have is time and money. So it says shock claims have emerged that wealthy Europeans paid more than 100,000 to shoot people, including children, in a war-torn city. Wealthy sniper tourists allegedly paid upward of 140,000 to shoot people during human safari trips to a war-torn European capital in the 1990s, with an extra fee to kill little ones. According to disturbing claims being probed by Italian prosecutors, the investigation was sparked after an Italian writer alleged he had uncovered evidence that wealthy gun enthusiasts dubbed sniper tours would pay Bosnian Serb forces for the chance to gun down residents at random during the 4-year siege of the city. More than 10,000 people were killed in Bosnia's capital city of Sarajevo by snipers and shelling between 1992 and 1996 during the Balkan Wars. The conflict occurred during the fragmentation of Yugoslavia into separate states. It says during the war, snipers in tower blocks in the surrounding hills regularly took aim at the residents of Sarajevo. There were Germans, French, English people from all Western countries who paid large sums of money to be taken there to shoot civilians. There were no political or religious motivations. They were rich people who went there for fun and personal satisfaction. What?
Did you know there are now serious claims that during the siege of Sarajevo in the 90s, rich Westerners allegedly paid up to $90,000 for the chance to shoot civilians for fun? I'm talking about so-called sniper tourists, people who travelled into a war zone just to treat human beings like targets in a sick real-life safari. That claim comes from an Italian investigative writer who says he's uncovered evidence that wealthy gun fanatics from Germany, France, England, Italy, all sorts, allegedly paid Bosnian Serb forces to let them take potshots at random residents trapped inside that blockade. And according to him, there was even an extra fee if they wanted to shoot a child. Holy shit, let that sink in. People with money turning a war zone into their personal shooting gallery. No politics, no ideology, just thrill seekers who liked guns and didn't care who they destroyed. These allegations first appeared in the 90s, but now they've triggered a fresh criminal probe in Italy. Prosecutors in Milan are trying to identify any Italians who were involved, and the writer behind the investigation says he's already named some of them. Think about that for a second. If this is proven true, then this isn't just a story about a foreign war. It's a story about what people are capable of when nobody's watching. And if you're wondering how something this sick could go unnoticed for 30 years, you're not alone. Because that's the real question here. What else have we been told about wars we've watched from the sofa? What else is still sitting in archives and intelligence files that would flip our understanding of history on its head?
We are talking about people who love guns, who perhaps go to shooting ranges or on a safari in Africa. They said he first read reports of the alleged tourist-led shootings in Italian media outlets in the 1990s, but started digging deeper after watching a 2022 documentary about a former Serb soldier who claimed foreigners would shoot at residents from the hills in Sarajevo. He has alleged that Italian suspects would meet in the Italian city of Trieste, however you pronounce that, which bordered the former Yugoslavia. From there, they would travel to Belgrade in Serbia and then to the hills looking over Sarajevo by Bosnian Serb soldiers. Now, I even read on a bunch of these comment sections of people who would chime in and say they're actually from Sarajevo, and it was true. Someone said, I was a teenager during the war. Sniperists were shooting at us on our way to school. And it's a lot. I've seen a lot of those type of comments. Now, I just find this to be insane. Insane. I mean, the things that are coming out about the world today. And it's, I titled that video yesterday, something, very strange is happening to our world. And I mean, that's just an understatement, but it sums up what we're talking about right here. It's sick. Somebody said it wasn't buried, it was there in books and testimonials. It's just that now it's convenient to bring up. The Western world dictates when tragedy is unraveled. Sincerely, a Bosnian girl. I mean, it was. I, I'm pretty sure it's been there. It's been people who knew about it, but that, as the article said, that particular documentary gave, new light and investigators to now take it further and try to find some of those people who are still obviously living and prosecute them. And sometimes this is what it takes. Sometimes it takes things blowing up on, a national scale or just a bigger level in general for people to be made aware of this kind of stuff. As we know, darkness like that will never be concealed. It will always come to light. And that's basically what's happening. Like every kind of truth will be known. And I fully believe that. But y'all let me know what y'all think about this story down in the comments, man. That's all I got for this one. Might be a little bit shorter, but just wanted to make this video about this topic alone. Thought it was very interesting. So if y'all never heard about it, be sure to leave a like, leave a comment. Y'all already know what's going on, man. It's Black Balloon, and I'm going to see y'all soon. I'm out.